Hello, Nintendo Wii here, welcome back to Let's Play Retro Games, and welcome to episode 19 of Games I Got Recently. So, let's get started. In no particular order, just the order that I've got the games here. The first game we have is Multi-Racing Championship for the Nintendo 64. I heard about this game thanks to a YouTube channel. I can't remember the game off at the moment, so I'll put his channel up there at the top. Really interesting channel. He looks through loads of old Nintendo magazines, especially about the N64, and it was a really interesting watch. And this game is one that the magazines were very excited about back in the day. So really happy to pick this up. It only cost me a £5, and I got it from one of them game shops that I showed off in the Retro Game Shopping in Birmingham video. Next up, another N64 game. This one is Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition, which I actually picked up just the other day at a new game shop in Warsaw, near Birmingham. I also picked up two other games from this shop. Kabuki Quantum Fighter for the NES. Really interesting game. One of the first games that was actually published by HAL in the West. Seems really good, really fun. Reminds me a bit of the Batman game on the NES. And one more game that I also picked up from that shop, Virtua Racer for the Sega Saturn. I've got the Mega Drive version, so I was really curious to see what the difference is between that and this one on the Saturn. It's for the Japanese Saturn, and unfortunately I broke mine because I was silly enough to plug in the wrong AC adapter. So I've got to try and fix that, but when I do, expect to see some gameplay of this one. Two games here which are download games. They are Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver. Actually this one belongs to my girlfriend and I got Gold, but I get both the boxes to go on the shelf, so that's really cool. Really love Gold and Silver. Two of my favourite games in the Pokemon series. Two more N64 games, going back to the N64, and two more that I picked up from Entertainment World in Birmingham. Twisted Edge Snowboarding, not a patch on 1080, fairly fun snowboarding game. And the other one was Wet Tricks. It's a really fun puzzle game, so I don't see why this version would be any different. I picked up a few 3D Game Boy Advance games because I was watching a video about 3D GBA games. SSX3 is the first one. The frame rate's kind of choppy on this, but I do really love the SSX series, so I'm still really happy to have this. The next one is V-Rally 3. Looks amazing on the GBA, especially when you play it on the actual system. If you're playing it on the Retro Freak or on the Gamecube using the Game Boy Player, it's not quite as impressive. But on the actual system, you can't really tell that it's that blurry. And two Need for Speed games, Need for Speed Most Wanted and Need for Speed Carbon. They both run on the same engine, so they're more or less the same game, just in different settings. They're cool to have on the GBA and they play quite well as well. And one more on the GBA, I picked this one up from Kex in Telford, Pokemon Pinball. I never actually had the Game Boy Advance version of Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, so I'm really happy to have this. I've been playing it for quite a while now actually, and I'm really enjoying it. And last but not least, probably the best game that I picked up on the GBA recently, Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. Got it for a really decent price from Kex. Complete in box with instructions, but unfortunately I've started playing Stardew Valley on the Switch. So this one's sort of taken a back seat, but I really want to get into it at some point, because apparently this, along with the PS1 version, is the best version of Harvest Moon you can get. A modern game now? Yes, I do play modern games as well as retro games, and I'm really loving this, even within 2. I'm really enjoying it, so much more than I enjoyed the first one. It's a lot more open than the original one was, and it plays really well on the PS4, so definitely recommend this if you like horror games. Doom on the PS4, I was recommended this one by a friend, but I don't really find it that entertaining. It's quite basic, it plays well enough, but there doesn't really seem to be much atmosphere to it. And if you do like that sort of arcadey shooting game, it's really good, but I prefer games with a bit more of a story if I'm going for that first person sort of view. Still, recommend it if you like arcadey first person shooters, and it's coming out on the Switch soon as well, so if you've got a Switch and you fancy giving it a go, there's a game for you. And one more on the PS4 which I haven't actually opened yet, it's still sealed, Infamous Second Son. I played the, I think it's called Infamous First Light, the one where you play as the girl with the electric powers. I played that one when I had it on PS Plus a few years ago now, so I really enjoyed it, so I picked this one up to get round to at some point. Don't know when that will be yet. Metroid Samus Returns. I haven't played it too much, but I did get the special edition, which comes with this little pin here in the box, if you can see that, if it's in focus. And what else did it come with? Samus Archive soundtrack, which I've put on iTunes, installed onto my phone. Really nice collection of music from all the different Metroid games in the series. And of course the game itself is really good. The only thing that I can't quite get used to is pressing the X button to dodge the enemy attacks before you can shoot back at them. That takes a bit of getting used to, but apart from that, this is classic Metroid, so if you want another Metroid game, go out and buy this, and hopefully they'll see the fans' response and bring us another proper 2D Metroid on the Switch or another home console in the future. Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex on the Gamecube. I've already got it on the PS2, but I really wanted the Gamecube version, so I'm really happy to have this. Next up, a game that I found in Kex for surprisingly cheap, and you don't really see this game around very often. This is Dance and Stage Mario Mip. I need to bring the dance mat up at some point to give this one a go. Really interesting game. I don't know how this even got made, it's so peculiar. Next one, a game that I've been after for quite a while for two reasons. One, it comes with Pac-Man Versus, which I only have the American version for, so now I've got the PAL version as well. This is R-Racing for the Gamecube. The sort of reboot of the Ridge Racer franchise. It's not as good as that, it's a bit more simulation-y, but I don't mind it. It's quite good. I was playing it for a good few hours when I picked it up. Spyro Enter the Dragonfly on the Gamecube. This game hasn't really got a very good reception, but actually I'm really enjoying it. I don't know whether it's just because I can get over the fact that it's got lots of glitches. Once you look past that and the controls are a bit weird, a bit slippery, it's a really good Spyro game, just as good as any of the other ones, to be honest. I've almost finished it, and when I do finish it, I'm moving on to this one. Spyro A Hero's Tale, also for the Gamecube. Haven't really heard anything about this one. Apparently it's the last proper Spyro game, so I'm really looking forward to finishing off that series with this game, and then maybe move on to the Spyro Legends games after. Crash Nitro Kart. I was really hoping that this was, on par with Diddy Kong Racing or something like that, but unfortunately it's nowhere near that standard, but even so, it's still a fun kart racer, and I'd recommend it if you like Crash Bandicoot. Here's some games for the Switch. I've got 3 games here, the first one being Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Really enjoying this game, and not just because it's got music by Grant Kirkhope, although that is a huge reason in itself. David Soliani and his team did a fantastic job on this game. It's everything I expected and more. The cutscenes as well are just hilarious. Really enjoying this, and definitely recommend it to anyone who likes tactics games and has a Switch. Next up, a game that I was really interested in playing because I'd never played it on any other system. That is Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus for the Switch. I paid full price for this, which I think is a bit expensive for what the game is, but it does have unlimited replay value, and I've put in about 10 hours so far. Really enjoying it. I can definitely see why people loved this game when it came out. And the last game that I picked up for the Switch, and one that I'm really struggling with for some reason, although I am really enjoying it at the same time, and I've been playing it a lot in multiplayer, that is ARMS, finally. I was put off getting this game at launch because I didn't think it looked like it had a lot of content, but decided to take the plunge and get it, and I'm really enjoying it. So if you see me on the Switch online, definitely let me know and we can have a game of ARMS at some point. I really need to try and improve my game. Here's one that I was super excited to get, and I never really thought I'd get this, but I traded in a lot of duplicate games now that my girlfriend's moved in with me, and I got this. It was fairly expensive, I'm not going to say the price, but super excited to have Burning Rangers on the Sega Saturn. I've been playing it for quite a bit. Unfortunately I needed a new battery at the Saturn, so I'd done 2 levels when I played it the first time, and I lost all my save data and had to do it all again. But even so, really great game. One of the more unique games that Sonic Team put out on any system, so really recommend this if you've got Saturn and the money to buy it. Volfeed, which is the sequel to the arcade and Atari game Kicks. It's that sort of game where you draw lines, and you have to make boxes, and when you've filled in a certain percentage of the screen you moved on to the next level. This one takes that to the next stage with having more different enemy types and an actual theme to go around the game. It's really fun. Titan. It's a really simple game where you move a ball through a maze. Really not that great. And the other game that's sort of similar is Blodia, or Blodia. I really don't know how to pronounce that. Neither of these games are really worth getting unless you find them super cheap, but Volfeed is definitely a good game for the PC Engine. Of course, I also picked up the SNES Mini. I'm sure if you've been following my channel recently, you saw that me and Risu Chu did a Let's Play of Kirby's Superstar, known as Kirby's Fun Pack over here. Really loving this system. We've also started playing through Secret of Mana, and we're both really enjoying that. So if you can find it, definitely get yourself a SNES Mini. Here's some more stuff from Metroid that I didn't show earlier. Here's the Steel book and a download code for Metroid 2. And there's the 3DS box and something else that came with Metroid. The art book. So there you go, it just shows you some of the concept art for Samus Returns. Really, really cool. Nice bit of collector's item there. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Please, if you feel like it, go and check me out on Patreon. I had my first Patreon subscriber, so thank you very much, Game Dude Josh. I really, really appreciate it. So if anyone wants to go and check that out, there's a link in the description. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and me and Pappy will see you in the next episode. Goodbye!